analysis on that one. Quick update on NALCS 2. Fox is currently leading 5-3 around the 25-minute mark over Energy. Maybe we'll check back in on the status of that as the segment develops. But as we dive into this, you know, we were looking at both these teams saying we need to see improvement. That's what you were saying, Mark, leading into this. And on the side of Team Liquid, I mean, they look pretty smooth
One
in this
team
game.
looked like they improved, one team not so much. I don't know. It was crazy.
Right, so if we dive into Champ Select, let's start there, right? Because we did already talk about the difference between 6'10", 6'11". You know, we had the Mage update, now we've got the top lane changes. And in this draft in particular, you would look at CLG's side and you'd say, well, that's a heck of a lot of power picks, and yet it didn't work.
So CLG coming into their vocal that they got to find their way in the meta again. And to be honest, they look like the kid that goes into the soda fountain and just picks, oh, I like Coke, I like Sprite, I like Fanta, I like all of them. Put them all in one drink and it tastes terrible. That's exactly what their comp was. There is no synergy between these champions. So while they're hitting the marks on the champions that are strong, they're failing to build the synergy between them and executing it.
Yeah, I mean, when you start looking at this draft, you see like the first pick Rek'Sai, and instantly I was like, you know, what are they doing? This looks weird from like a 6'10" perspective. But as the rest of the draft plays out, CLG just keeps grabbing these power picks that they think are like, oh, this is the best stuff on the patch.
Right.
And TL on the other side is just kind of looking at, you know, counter picks and things that are strong on this patch. And so it's just this weird thing where CLG's comp ends up doing nothing but running away. They have like no CC, no engage, just all kite. And
a bunch of S tier champions that don't actually work together to form a holistic team comp versus, you know, some very, very strong team champions. It's not like Rek'Sai and Irelia aren't S tier right now, but these champions actually work well together. And we saw that develop pretty rapidly throughout this game. Dardoch, I mean, talk about the upgrade, right? Bringing him back in, this stellar player who's got to put up or shut up, you know, when it comes to stepping back in and proving that he is a very talented player on this Rek'Sai. Going top twice. First blowing the flash, following that up for a 2v1 dive, and then setting Lourlo up to just take control of this lane in the 1v1s for the rest of the game.
His early pathing this game was exceptional. You know, he managed to steal the blue buff, routes back to top side, blows the summoners, and constantly is pressuring top. And he went in such a good time that every single gank that he made would result in either a big freeze for Lourlo, getting him ahead, or just zoning him off this massive wave for the Swain. So really good stuff from him, understanding the times where you need to pressure top. Yesterday in the series, we saw a lot of top lane matches, but not a whole lot of jungle attention in these lanes. And this is exactly the kind of attention that we need to see in this patch for snowballing a top laner. So other teams should take notes at how they played this out.
Speaking on snowballing a top laner, holy crap, where has this Lourlo been? I mean,
right.
He's always stuck on tank champions, but he was always known in solo queue for being this amazing carry player. And we saw his Echo was usually pretty good because it was closer to a carry tank. But now they, like, hopefully the meta is switching to full carries. His Fiora used to be amazing. I mean, this was a Samson Jackson game.
Yeah, there you go.
That's his real name. I don't know why you picked Lourlo as a tag when you have such a sick real name, but whatever.
Yeah, we're so used to, you know, every time I think Lourlo, I think Nautilus. You have so many, I have so many memories of Nautilus games coming out of Lourlo, but here we see the Irelia. I know that he was at one point a very proficient Riven player, as you mentioned, the Fiora and such. So he's making a bid. He's making his bid to join that top echelon of top laners that we were talking about at the beginning of the day. We didn't necessarily include him, but this is a game. If he can put up performances like this, we'll very quickly recognize him as one of the top laners.
I wouldn't jump too deep into this shit because I do think that a lot of this was influenced by Dardoch.
Right.
So we need to see how this matchup plays out on a one-on-one. I mean, Darshan took Strength of the Aegis on the Swain, so a little bit iffy as well. But, you know, this is a great showcasing, eventually being able to pressure out multiple turrets. But it was a two-man effort as opposed to just him getting this on his own.
That's what I was going to say. It's a team game. So you see, like, HuHi reign over, what makes them great is their synergy, not just, you know, HuHi crapping on people.
And as it's a two-man game there in that top lane, the player of the game is going to go to Dardoch for that impressive early pathing. You know, taking that blue buff away from Xmithie just to tilt the enemy jungler on your way to the top lane and get your top laner snowballing. For him, it very much was the story of setting up his top laner so that his top laner could carry the rest of the game. But he kind of analyzed the win conditions of the game properly in that sense.
Yeah, and it was definitely a team game too. We saw bot lane. TL looked like they had pressure in all three lanes for most of the game. FeniX was shoving in the Vlad constantly, had him chunked out super hard level 2 and level 3. And it was the kind of thing where Dardoch's free to move around the map wherever he wants because he has pressure everywhere.
Yeah, and that comes from CLG going into this composition where you have Graves and zero setup from any single lane.
What are they going to do?
Graves shows up middle, is like starts auto-attacking. Okay, I'm just going to dash away. Like,
Yeah, I'm out.
Overall, CLG looking a little bit lost in this game, and that's where I want to close. As we are in the best of threes, CLG still looking for their first match win. What do we expect them to do? I mean, I have to imagine, since we had so much criticism for their draft, that that's where we're going to look to first. They got to create a solid team comp before they can actually execute on it in game.
Yeah, but the thing that's so weird is like there isn't like a single foothold I look at in this draft and be like, okay, return to that and then add some better parts onto it. The whole thing was kind of this mess to me, and it clearly showed in the game. They were almost perfect game until FeniX got really brave and tried it.
All right, well, real quickly, we've got some